Hey guys, Grace here. Again, let's talk about loving hard money. So, I didn't know what hard money was. It sounds bad, but my situation with this house that I just put in an offer and I won for $164,000 really catapulted me in learning what hard money was. So it started out during that time. I had just gotten divorced. I started a cleaning company so that I could make sure that I could make enough money and make sure that my kids are with me and not have to put them in daycare. So I'm just trying everything and anything to try to make a living and try to, take care of my kids. So during that time, somehow I ended up being a grunt for a mortgage broker. And I wasn't really sure what that meant. But I knew that, okay, I'm going to learn something about loans and buying houses. So after going through that whole process of buying, getting my own home that I have in my own name and getting my ex-husband off the name, I don't know how it all happened, but it happened, and I was like, okay, I want to learn this process. So I am kind of a grunt person trying to find deals for this mortgage broker in hopes that I would learn something. So when I got this house, I was like, great, I could use this house and getting a mortgage for this house as a practice, right? I can learn and get this house at the same time. So my mortgage broker's like, yeah, sure. He was kind of a schmuck. Looking back, I'm like, okay, he definitely had his interest, never anybody else's interest. But I didn't know any better at the time. So that's what I did. So we start the process. I put the money down. I had the $5,000 deposit down, and we had 30 days to close, and everything was going great. I'm doing everything that I understood it to be according to my mentor, the broker. In the meantime, my agent, who was new, but knew enough to go and clean up the pool that was kind of dirty and no water in it, and he filled it up, made it look nicer. Again, I wasn't sure why he did that, but at the time, I'm like, okay, do whatever you want as long as it looks nice. So we are on our way, everything is great, and somehow something happened, and I was told by this broker that appraisal wasn't approved. And I'm like, what does that mean? And so he's like, well, the appraiser deemed your house unlivable because you have broken glass, the house is not in good shape. I was like, what? He knew this was a fixer-upper, but again, like I said, I was definitely not somebody he was interested in grooming or helping. He just was wanting money. So, I find this out, and we're literally I don't even know. As far as I could feel, and I remember at the time, we were probably a week out to closing. But obviously looking back now, appraisal, should have been done during due diligence period. I'm not even sure if we had due diligence period. I don't remember. But what I do remember is panic, because I'm about to lose $5,000. And at that time in my life, and it still is, a huge amount of money. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I'm about to lose $5,000. The money I didn't have, I took it out of my home equity line of credit to do that, right? So I have a mortgage and this home equity line of credit where I'm paying monthly payments on now of the interest. And so I did what I could and try to calm down. And something prompted me to go on the internet, which I hardly ever did at that time. It was new for me. It wasn't something that I did very often. I barely used a cell phone at the time. But something made me go on there and look up like the newspaper like for sale and different things, classifieds. So I went on the classifieds and I started looking, and I swear I saw something that says a mortgage broker, somebody that says they can get me a mortgage. And for whatever reason, I think I was desperate. I just wanted something. So I called this woman over the phone, and she said, yeah, I can do your mortgage for you. She's like, oh, it's going to be this and that, all these costs. And at that point, I was like, I don't care. I just need a mortgage because I'm about to lose this house at $164,000. I'm about to lose it when it's such a great deal. So she's like, yeah, give me a couple hours or whatever it was. And she contacts me back. I gave her all the information, the house, everything. And she contacts me back and says, yes, I have somebody that will give you the money. I was like, what? How does this work? Because it's a private person that knows the value and is willing to give you the money. Later on, I find out it's an older gentleman in a beat up old truck who happens to have money that's sitting around, and the way he makes money is by lending it to people like me who is flipping or wanting to do something with a residential home. And I find out it's called hard money, right? Or private money. It's not money coming from a bank, and I don't have to jump through all those hoops with the bank. What this gentleman knew was all the homes in the area were selling for $350,000 to $400,000. And he drove by with his old beat up truck, just to drive by, and he knew that the house, we're buying it for $164,000. For him, if I screw up in any way, shape, or form, he'll just take the house and he'll just probably put it back on the market for $300,000 the way it is. And it would have been just fine for him. He would walk away with good money. So it makes sense for him to give me the money. And it was so easy. It literally was from the moment I spoke to her to the day that I got the money and signed. It was probably 3 days. You can't beat that. There was no appraisals, there was no inspections, there was just no crap. All the crap you have to go through with the bank. All the people making decisions at the bank that really doesn't even know your market, probably doesn't even invest for themselves. They don't know real estate, but they're making decisions on how an investor is going to work out. Now again, that being my first deal, it was probably a higher risk, but I had such a good equity in that property that it wasn't a risk. So within 3 days, I had my money, I had that signed, I bought the property, and it was so little headache. Now, a lot of people talk about, oh my gosh, the interest rates are so high. Well, at that point in my life, I was about to lose $5,000 if I didn't get a loan. If I got the loan, that $5,000 goes towards the purchase. So for me, it makes sense. Now, it was 12.75% interest rate, and it was for 4 months. And I think they charged me 1 or 2 points up front, which means 1 or 2% of the loan amount as a cost, probably for the broker, right, who did the work and got the paperwork together and found me this investor. So it was terrific. I mean, for me, 4 months at 12.75% interest rate, yeah, it's painful to be paying that on a monthly basis, because it was like, I think it was around $100 to $150 a day of interest. But again, I knew that I had a $164,000 mortgage on a home I could sell for 350 to 400,000. So let's just say 350. So I said, okay, I can afford to add back that $150 a day for 4 months into my debt when I go to sell it. So that's really what happened. It actually, from learning how to do the remodel and not really knowing what I should do and not do and get rid of, and all that learning from that remodel created a time frame that I needed 6 months. So then I went back to him after 4 months. He was I never met the guy, but the broker was very easygoing about it, charged me another point, I think, and I extended it for another 2 or 3 months. So I sold the property within 6 months from the day I bought it to the day I sold it. So it was a lifesaver to have this hard money, private money. I love using them. I have several companies or friends of mine that are hard money, private money investors for me. And it's one of those things that if it's the first person I think of when I'm about to look at something to buy, because I just know it's going to be a smooth transaction. Now, I don't recommend private money or hard money if it's a long-term hold, for sure, but we've done it where we got into the deal very quickly because the terms of getting into closing fast is what was important to the seller. Then we would get that hard money lender, buy it fast, quickly, and then we turn around and refinance it with a bank because they take forever and they always make you jump through all these hoops and they still mess up. So we've used that for that purpose as well, and it's worked out tremendously. So I recommend that always keep in mind and always find a book of investors that are willing to invest and that's willing to lend you money, because especially if you're trying to do something that's a value add or a flip or something like that, they are so valuable, so much easier to go work with. And they, it's just like working with somebody who works in the field, like borrowing money from somebody who understands how an investment property works. And it's so nice to make that, to do that. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I love hard money, and I hope you do too. It's not about the interest. If you know you can make the money when you bought it, right? And you know that you're going to be able to sell it at a profit, then a couple $100 every day or a couple $1,000 at the end of the whole deal that you have to give back is nothing. So it's really a great option. Hard money. Love hard money. So like and subscribe so that I can make more content. Let me know in the comments below what else you want to know. Do you have some questions from what I just talked about that you want me to answer? Let me know and we'll talk about it, okay? Have a great day and we'll talk to you next time.